Hey guys, welcome back. Today, let's start with a quick recap of the session we had earlier. So in the previous session, I explained you about a few things. Let's start with how you got your very first web page built, right? So I hope that everyone tried building their very first web page using three simple tags which I had said you. One, the heading tags. So if you guys remember, do you guys remember there are H1 to H6 heading tags? So each one depends upon the size and the boldness of the text. Next, we learned about paragraph tag. The paragraph tag is where you are going to write about the headings. The last but the very important tag which we had learned was the image tag. The image tag helps you to add images. One special thing about image tag is that it is an empty tag. We'll be learning about the empty tag in the future classes or hopefully today. So what is empty tag? Empty tag is a tag which doesn't have a closing tag. So what do I mean by this? So when we learned about image tag over here, so we just add the starting of the tag and we don't use a ending image tag. So I'll just take back to the session which we had. So over here, as you can see, the h1 has a h1 closing tag, but when we try to add images, we just make it as img. If you remember, src, here we are going to put this source and we are going to put the alternative text and close. So there is no closing tag for the image tag, making it a unique type of tag called empty tags. We'll be learning about it in the class soon. Okay. So today I'll be teaching you about a very important topic called as HTML structure. So to be a very good web developer, your code should be readable to all the web developers if you're working in a company. So that one, making your code very much structurable makes it such that you can understand where and what changes have to be made and your code is going to look very much organized. The second important thing, if your code is very much structured, is that if there is another team which is working and they want to search up something, they know where to look for. Okay, so let's begin understanding by breaking down the HTML structure. The first line, that is doc type HTML, says that this is a HTML version 5 which we are using and the doc type is HTML. Next we have the HTML tag. So HTML is the root tag inside which you're going to place all your HTML code. So inside HTML we have the head tag. So the head tag is the tag which contains very much important things, that is a meta tag, which is basically a tag which contains additional information. We'll be learning about meta tag in just a moment. And next, the very important one called title tag. So in this title, we are going to mention the title of our web page. For example, if I just I'll just show you what I mean by this. I just go to tab. Okay, here you can see this is a PPT which has a title over here, basically Google Slides. So this is where your title is going to be, and you can add very much important stuff in the head tag, guys. The Cascadian styling sheets, the CSS part can be added in the head, and all the linking which you're going to do, that is links for the style sheets, link for the scripts, all that should be done in the head tag. So that is about the head and the title tag. Next, the very important one is the body tag. So anything inside the body tag is what is going to be rendered on your web page or displayed on your web page. So this plays a very important role, that you place everything inside your head, inside your body. So here it's just basically a h1 heading and a paragraph, and here you're going to close the body tag, and make sure you always close this root HTML. The web page would try to auto make it, but it's a good practice to close the root HTML everywhere. So that is one thing. So let me just try code this and show you guys. So let us start with basically creating a new lesson. So it is our second session, right? So it is session 2.html. Let me just make you guys understand what I meant by all of them. HTML. Okay. So everyone knows about how to use the shortcut keys, right? So just type HTML and select the HTML file. This is very much helpful when you're working with HTML basically. So the boilerplate is automatically brought into your VS Code over here. Okay, so let me just give you a quick view of meta tag before explaining all this so that you can understand what I mean by meta tags easier. So in the PPT I have made sure that each one has a description of that. Make sure you go through these things once. You can pause and take a screenshot, or you can just pause and view them once. You won't be, if you once you get understand to the HTML structure, you won't be needing to repeat all of them. So doc type specifies the version. HTML is the root element where all the HTML code or the HTML um, elements goes inside. Next we have the head, which contains the meta information and the title and the links. The title contains the title of the web page. Then body, everything inside body is the thing which gets rendered, and which we had learnt before. We had learnt about h1 and paragraph tags. So guys, we'll be learning about meta tag now. Meta tag is very important. A meta tag is used to provide additional information. Suppose the browser wants to know what type of character set you're using. This can be achieved by meta tag. So you just write meta charset UTF-8. Meta also does a lot of extra things. Suppose you want to make sure that the screen which you're working in changes according to the width of the device which you're using. So let us say you're watching this on a laptop and now you want your web page to look the same good uh, beautiful way on a mobile phone or an iPad or anything. So you will make use of this command, which basically says meta name is viewport, that is what's the viewport going to be, and you're going to set the content to width equals to device width. Initial scale is equals to 1.0. So initially it will be 1.0, but as the device changes, you're going to make changes such that the width is equals to width of the device which you're viewing. So this is a very good functionality of the meta tag. So I hope that you understood meta tag now, because I will be showing you a hands-on demo on how these two things matter a lot when you're building a web page. Okay, so here, as I said, the doc type version HTML inside I'm specifying about attributes. I'm specifying an attribute saying that the language I will be using is English. We'll be discussing about attributes in the future classes, so no worries. Now it's basically language lang is equals to English. The meta, which is providing additional information. So the meta character set is UTF-8. The HTTP equivalent is XUA compatible. Content is edge. So these things I'll be explaining it in the further classes what these mean. I hope you guys understood this one. That's name viewport, content is width is initially. Okay, now let's start by writing h1 saying that hello, welcome to session 2 of the course, and let's add a small paragraph to it. So as you can see, the tags which have an ending tag would automatically be provided by the Visual Studio Code. Let's type in something like, hey, welcome, how are you guys doing? Are you able to understand? Understand well. Now, let me just run this using the very easy way which I taught you guys in the previous demo video of Visual Studio Code. I just open with live server. So it's going to open over here. So guys, okay, now the web page has been loaded. So I was talking about the very important meta tag, right? So over here, as you can see, I slightly decrease the size of the screen. Now the course has come down and everything like this. Now if I just increase, it automatically like resizes the window. This is very important feature, as this makes sure that all of your images or all of your important tags load in a particular manner without depending upon the screen size. So if you shift your websites from like screens, mobile, you don't know how the people would be accessing your web page, right? So this feature makes sure that your page appears same on most of the all of the devices in which people would be viewing them. So guys, next we'll be learning about a topic. So this topic many of the people ignore it, but this is a topic. If you are a programmer or you have been a programmer, you know how useful comments are. So comments, one, make your code more readable to yourself if you're viewing it after days or months. Two, you don't need to delete a part of the code, you just have to comment them out, and whenever you need them, it is still there for you. All you got to do is uncomment it. So comments in HTML play a very important role. So let's understand the syntax of the comment. The syntax of the comment starts with an opening arrow mark, and then you're going to put an exclamatory mark followed by two hyphens, and whatever the content is, whatever it may be, it goes inside that, and then you're going to close with two hyphens and closing arrow mark. So remember this, it is the same for single line and multi-line comment. So I'll just show you the beauty of comments by just giving you an example over here. So let's say I just want to hide my heading. So what I do, just do like this, exclamatory mark, 1, 2, and end it with the same way. Now, as you know, this line has been commented, but it is still there for you to view, but it won't be rendered in the web page. This is a very beautiful feature. Guys, you make sure that you make complete use of the comments, where you have to comment about the code so that other people can understand, leave about other people. You yourself would be very much like you would be knowing what I have done over here. Comments are very helpful, and this is how another way in which you can use comments. Okay, now the comments has been done. Now let us go to the next important topic. So these topics you won't be the PRE, the preserve tag, is a tag which you will not be using more often, but it is a tag which you might require sometimes. So PRE, the preserve tag, is a tag which helps you to preserve the white spaces. So what I mean by that, let me just show you over here. Now I just enter over here. So for you as a developer, you can see there is a gap from over here to here. But even if I refresh my web page over here, you can see there is still no gap over here. So the white spaces is not being preserved. So let me just make it change over here, change the paragraph to preserve, and here, yeah. So as you can see, wait, let me just zoom in. Can you guys see? Yeah, now I can. Now I guess you can see. Now the distance of the white spaces has been preserved. This is a very handy feature where you want the text aligned in a very particular manner in which you want. So you can use the preserve tag for this. Next tag is the BR tag. Okay, what is BR tag? The BR stands for the break in line. BR tag is important in a lot of features or a lot of things where you use inline elements. We'll be talking about the inline elements in the future classes. Basically, all the elements which are, suppose the elements such as body, inside the body you have paragraph, or like you have headings. These are block elements. They take up the entire width of the screen, like entire thing. Suppose, what I mean by that, let me just give you an example. I just write a paragraph over here saying that good morning, and I add another paragraph over here saying that have a nice day. Okay, so as you can see, uh, although there is space over here as well, it always renders in the next line. So these are basically inline block elements. Sorry, block elements take up the entire left and right of the screen, and inline elements are those which just don't take up the entire screen. Example maybe span, which you'll be learning in the future classes, but just understand what do you mean by block and inline elements. So block elements take the entire left to right of the screen, and inline elements just take whatever over here. So next, what am I going to do? So let's try to understand the BR tag which we're learning about. Let's take another one. Be saying that, let's say, did you have your breakfast? Now I just want a line gap over here. Over here, I just put BR and say, yes, I had my breakfast. So as you can see, it has gone to a new line over here. BR is a empty tag. Empty tags are those tags which doesn't need a closing tag. So as you can see, all the tags which still we have learned except for the image tag are complete tags. So P starts with the opening tag and ends with an empty tag, but BR is a empty tag, which basically means that it doesn't have an ending tag. So it has done its job. It has moved it to the next line. So guys, these are the topics which I wanted to cover. So in this video or in this session, we had learned about very important things, starting off with HTML structure. Next, we understood about the meta tag, how important it is and what role it plays. Next, we understood about comments, the how you can use comments in your code and how it is helpful for you as a developer to know how to use comments. Next, we have learned about the preserve and BR break tag. So both of them are very much important. And in the next class, we'll be learning about attributes. Attributes, in a sense, attributes are very important topic. So in the next session would be very much interesting, and I hope everyone has fun. And we'll also be learning about block elements, inline elements, which I just said you about in details. And we'll be learning about very important things. We'll be learning how you can render fractions, etc., in your web page. So over here, if I just try to like render a fraction, let's say in a paragraph I want to render 1 by 4 over here. As you can see, it looks like this. It doesn't look like a fraction. There is a way in which you can get actual fractions. So I'll be teaching you about that and a lot more in the next class. So guys, before you come to the next class, always try to like recap before that. So we learned whatever I just reminded you what we learned. Next class we are going to learn more in detail about them. So thank you for this class. See you soon.